Oh, what's good? So in this video, we're gonna be talking about 3 ways to quit pornography. So I made a video recently and I recommend you guys check that out before watching this one. And it's about 3 reasons why porn is so addicting. And essentially in this video, we're just gonna be talking about how to interrupt those patterns and those 3 ways that it becomes so addicting by adding new things in that can kind of substitute for that and in turn help kind of get to experience some of the joys and pleasures of life that maybe porn did bring you. However, it's not going to, destroy your brain, or you're not going to become addicted to it. So the first thing that I talked about in the previous video, which will be linked down below, is instant sexual gratification. So that is one of the reasons why it's so addicting, right? You don't have to go out there, you don't have to work for it. You just open the computer and boom, it's right there. So for this, what I really had to do was get out there and start meeting people in real life, start developing actual relationships. Practicing dating, going out to people randomly in the grocery store, people that I thought were attractive, and say, hey, what's up? Start a conversation. Probably a little smoother than that, but you get the idea. And in doing that, it made me realize, okay, wow, I actually have to put in work and effort, and it's going to be uncomfortable to get the sexual gratification that I wanted just at the snap of my fingertips with porn. And it really changed my mindset, changed the way my brain operated and thought about the world. And now I have developed a lot more patience because of it too, because I think a lot of people that really dive into porn struggle with that needing instant sexual gratification, instant gratification in general. Obviously, this is an addiction channel. So as you guys know that have subscribed or that are new to it, I talk about addiction and I dealt with a lot of it. So I have that really strong tendency to just want things quick and fast, and I want as much pleasure and dopamine as possible. So going out and taking the harder route definitely has made me a stronger person, has developed my discipline, has made me more of a likable person too, because I'm not so entitled anymore. I realize that if I want to get something in life, I have to put time and energy and effort into. So that is the first way to quit porn. The second way, and the second part of the last video, was that it spikes neurochemicals, right? It's almost like, even though we might think, hey, like I'm not doing this in a bad way, there's still a biological process that goes on in the body and in the mind that causes the addiction, or at least contributes to it. And that is the spike and flood of neurochemicals, including dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, right? Oxytocin. People get hooked on oxys. And so this way, this solution to this issue here is to go out and find activities that are going to bring joy, bring natural levels of dopamine, serotonin, feel-good chemicals without having to turn to porn. And hopefully not any other substances either, like drugs or alcohol. So this includes like going to the gym, right? Getting a good workout in, playing a sport. Kind of going back into the first one, developing relationships, right? Like I found that is a great high, like hanging out with friends, talking to people on the phone, right? Kind of growing in that area. That is a much better high than, it might not be as intense as the high with porn, but it's much more pure, and it feels better, and it's more prolonged. It doesn't just come and go. And so it really, again, is training the brain to find that pleasure elsewhere. Cooking, I'm about to make a meal here, right? Simple things like cleaning the apartment, even reading books, that can be a great way to get a natural feel-good release of chemicals. And I think the main theme of this one here is that you have to work for it, right? And this ties back into the first one. You can't just get what we want immediately. You can, and that's why we've probably turned to porn in the past, at least that's what I did. And so really this idea of that we go out and we kill what we eat, right? We have to put in effort, and that effort is what gets the feel-good chemicals going. That's the reason why I can leave the gym or leave, finish a good meal and be like, wow, I feel really good. It's because I put the work in, and because I feel like I've earned it, and I think I've earned it. Not like before where it's like I knew I was just kind of, I wasn't working for it, right? So the last part here is going to be loneliness. And this is another reason why people get hooked, is because it cures that temporarily, it cures that loneliness. And so I guess number 1 and 2 can kind of go into this one as well, right? Getting out there, meeting new people, developing relationships, right? And it goes hand in hand. It's very symbiotic with quitting porn, because what I found is that when I quit porn, I was much more able to have relationships with people because I wasn't just objectifying everything and everyone. And in turn, they obviously responded better, and in turn, I got to feel good because I just had a great interaction with someone. And then in turn, I didn't feel lonely anymore because you know, you see how the cycle is going upwards instead of downwards. It's like a snowball effect, right? You do one thing positive, that leads to another thing, and so on and so on. Vice versa, when you're watching porn, that leads to depression, that leads to guilt and shame. Boom, you go out in relationships, it goes bad, boom, and it just spirals in the negative direction. So really getting out there and meeting people and having great relationships is really gonna help.